Welcome to the newest edition of the picks for this week. Last year, tons of road wins or hard to fought wins, at least in the top 25. One of those top 25 teams that was tested and won, by the way, on the road, Oklahoma. My Sooners will face their Red River rival, Texas, in the must-watch game in the Big 12. And nationally, also in the, if you want to call it the great state of Texas, also Alabama. And they'll face the A&M Aggies in prime time. All right, guys, we'll go through all the games and more next, or at least who I think is going to win. Boomer Sooner 1982. Don't go away! Welcome back to my picks selection show, everybody. My name's Harry James. Let's start with the picks, at least in the Big 12. And in the Big 12, no midweek games. So we'll start with the 11 a.m. slate. 11 a.m. OU Texas. You wouldn't like it any other way, guys. Game day is going to be in the Texas State Fair. Oklahoma and Texas will be in the State Fair. I will be in the Texas State Fair with Crazy OU fan. So if you want to hang out with that guy and see me, come on over. Also, if you don't care much about that game, you can also watch West Virginia and by the way, the OU Texas rivalry will be on ABC. The other game inside the Big 12 at 11 a.m. is the game that I will pick between West Virginia and Baylor. That game's on Fox Sports 1. I'm actually going with the Baylor Bears. West Virginia having to travel all the way around the country. West Virginia nasty on defense. They even played really well last night against Oklahoma State. Just couldn't seal the deal, if you will. Like the run there? 2:30 game in the Big 12 at least. TCU tries to bounce back after their 2-game losing streak, and they'll try to get it in Lubbock over the masked Red Raiders. And you know what? I think they're going to do it. Texas Tech has got to learn how to play some defense, or they're not going to win a ton of games. By the way, they also don't have their quarterback Shuck, who can shuck it down the field. Transfer from Oregon. He's out with the collarbone issue. That game, A, B, C. Those are your Big 12 regional matchups. Your national matchups now. There are Thursday night games here. Sleeper, however you want to call it, dark horse playoff contender from last year, maybe even this year, will take place. They will be on the road at 6:30 on Thursday. 6:30 p.m., by the way, as Coastal Carolina will be at Arkansas State on ESPNU. I'm going with Coastal Carolina. On normal ESPN, there's another game between Houston, as our good friend Mike Steely would say, as they are at Tulane. I'm going with the Fighting Dana Holgersons. That's your Thursday games, just 2 of these. 1, 2, 3 Fridays, including one of those teams that came up with a sneaky win on the road against the top-ranked team, Cincinnati. Went up the road to South Bend last week, and won. This year, it's their first game back at home, and they'll play Temple on Friday night at 6 o'clock on ESPN. That is Temple at Cincy, ESPN. I'm going with Cincinnati. 6 o'clock also, the opposite game is on the CBS Sports Network. Charlotte will be at Florida International. That's FIU. And I'm going with Florida International. And there is a Pac-12 After Dark Friday show showing on ESPN at 9:30. Stanford will be at Arizona State. I'm going with the Fighting Sun Devils. Next is our kickoff time with Oklahoma. Matching us and Baylor at the 11 a.m. slots are the following games. Let's see. The SEC network will have Vanderbilt and Georgia. Any figurative idea if Vanderbilt can fight in this one? I don't think so. I think Florida's going to win. Well, this might be the first time that Bob will have to miss an OU Texas game, as it looks like they will be in, at least in Columbus, if not in studio, as Maryland will be at the Ohio State University for this Fox matchup at 11. I'm going with the Buckeyes. I think that Maryland is getting better with Tagovailoa's little brother, but it's Ohio State. It's the horseshoe. It is not easy to win up there. So I'm going to take the Buckeyes. Michigan State at Rutgers, another 11 a.m. slot. The Big Ten Network. I'm going with the Spartacus. What about a couple of the? What about Arkansas at Ole Miss? Arkansas, one of the very few road teams that did not win last week. Or Ole Miss, one of the very few home teams that did not win last week. I'm sorry, but you know what? I'm going to still take Ole Miss. I think Arkansas is getting a little better, but in a home game atmosphere, I think that the Grove is just going to be too much for Arkansas at 11 a.m. That game will be on ESPN. The battle of the former OU guys. Two of my good buddies. What about South Carolina and Shane Beamer at Tennessee, Josh Heupel, former OU quarterback and former OC here at OU. That game's on ESPN2. It's in Knoxville. I think that Tennessee's going to win just because of the home field advantage. CBS Sports Network, their game is Northern Illinois at Toledo. That's their 11 a.m. game. I'm going with Toledo. ESPN Plus, their 11 a.m. game. Bowling Green, Akron at Bowling Green. I'm going with Bowling Green. The 11:30 a.m. slot. This game is on ESPN3, and it's Georgia Tech, and they're going to be at Duke. In this one, two low weights, if you will. I'm going with the home team. Give me the Dukes. 1 p.m. Old Dominion at Marshall, CBS Sports Network. I'm going with Marshall. 2 o'clock, Virginia, UVA at Louisville. ACC Network, I'm going with Louisville. The two slurry slots, besides the battle for Texas, at least in the Big 12 with TCU and Texas Tech, these are the other 2:30 games. What about Georgia and Auburn? Oh, what a good one that's going to be. That game is going to be on CBS. So if you're at the State Fair, be on the lookout for that one. Also, future newcomer to this conference, BYU. They will host Boise. The Boise at BYU game will be the game by after us with Oklahoma and Texas on ABC. ESPN2 at 2:30 will have Wake Forest at Syracuse. I'm going with Wake. The Stadium Network at 2:30 is Florida Atlantic at Alabama Birmingham. I'm going with UAB. ESPN3's game at 2:30 is, Middle Tennessee State at Liberty. That should be a good one. I'm going with Liberty. And Florida State and Wake Forest will be the regular ESPN game. I'm going with the Fighting Mac Browns in this one. A couple of other ones at the 2:30 slot, like Wisconsin and Illinois. Big Ten Network. I'm going with Illinois in the home game. UConn at Massachusetts. That's UMass. It's on the New England Sports Network. I'm going with UMass. CBS Sports Network. This should be a good one. What about our old buddy Tanner Mordecai and SMU at Navy? I'm going with SMU and Garrett Riley. What about that little nugget for it? ESPN Plus, Miami of Ohio at Eastern Michigan. I'm going with Eastern Michigan. It's a home game for them. Ball State at Western Michigan. That game's on ESPNU. I'm going with Western Michigan. ESPN Plus, Central Michigan at Ohio. I'm going CMU, that's Central Michigan University. And San Jose State at Colorado State. I really like the way that Colorado State's fighting as a non-Power 5 league team. They're going to keep on fighting and win this one. This game is on FS1. That's the 2:30. The 3 o'clocks, 3 of these games. Penn State at Iowa. This is a big one out in their league for the Big Ten and their side of the conference. Give me Iowa. They always find a way to contend on their half of the league. SEC Network, North Texas State, or the University of North Texas out of Denton, will be at Missouri. I'm going with Mizzouri. And the Pac-12 Network game, Oregon State at Washington State. I'm going with Wazoo. 5:30, Eastern Carolina at Central Florida. This game is part of the ESPN Plus package. I'm going with the Fighting Knights of UCF. That's the only 5 o'clock game. 6 o'clock games. ESPN 3, Texas El Paso at Southern Miss. Or Southern Mississippi, whichever one you prefer. I'm going with UTEP in this one. The Stadium Network, Texas San Antonio at Western Carolina. I'm going with UTSA in this one. There's no searching for this one. Just go to ESPNU and you can find it. It's Buffalo at Kent State. I'm going with Kent State. Georgia Southern at Troy on the Plus. That's ESPN Plus. I'm going with Troy. Also on the ESPN Plus family package, South Alabama at Texas State. I'm going with Texas State. CBS Sports Game of the Week, nightcap, 6 o'clock, Wyoming at Air Force. I'm going with the Cowboys of Wyoming. Closer we get to 6:30, the closer we get to prime time. The prime time game, 6:30 and 7, look like this. We'll start with 6:30. Notre Dame tries to bounce back after the hard-fought loss to Cincinnati. They're on the road at Virginia Tech on the ACC network. I'm going with Va-Tech in this one. ABC, so we start your day, and our former rival Nebraska ends the day on the ESPN. Theirs is Michigan at Nebraska. I know Nebraska's probably going to sell out again, but Michigan is just playing with a little bit more grit this year, a little bit more fight, a little bit tougher. So I'm going to take Michigan in this one. Also at 6:30, final game in this slot, SEC Network, LSU will be at our old buddy Mark, our buddy Mark Stoops. Bob and Mike's brother Mark Stoops, the head coach of Kentucky. LSU's going out to Kentucky, and I think Kentucky's going to win it. The prime time games, 7 o'clock. Plenty of time for you to just get home if you're going to the State Fair of Texas and just kind of relax, sit back in your hotel and watch some football. What about if you're an OU fan, that is, or any fan? Just get outside and get some experience. Alabama will be at Texas A&M, CBS Sports Network. I'm going with Alabama. Also at the 7 p.m. slot, ESPN 3 game between Georgia Tech and Louisiana Monroe. I'm going with ULM. And Utah and the Utes will be at Southern Cal on Big Fox. I'm going with USC. 8 o'clock, Memphis at Tulsa on the Deuce. That's ESPN 2. I'm going with our old buddies up north of Tulsa, in Tulsa, I should say. Also, Fox Sports 1 game at 8 o'clock. New Mexico State at San Diego State. That game's on ESPN, or Fox Sports 1, not ESPN 1, Fox Sports 1. I'm going with SDSU. 9:30 p.m. Pac-12 After Dark. A game in that area. UCLA at Arizona. ESPN. I'm going with UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles. Also in this time slot, but not part of the Pac-12 network family, or Pac-12 After Dark family, New Mexico State at Nevada. CBS Sports. I'm going with Nevada. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully your team wins. If you want to hang out with Mr. OU, crazy OU fan in me, at the Red River Rivalry, that's okay. Just look for us. Pretty sure you'll notice at least one of us. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. My name's Harry. Enjoy this week of college football. You can follow me many other ways. You can follow us, watch this and follow me on Twitter at HypeManHarry. Also, Facebook page, Harry James Taylor. Or on the YouTube, Boomer Sooner 1982. Alright, guys, thanks for watching, and y'all have a great weekend of college football, alright? See ya. Peace!